WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hello, everybody. Okay, it's Friday. I don't know if that's good or bad for folks. Some people start their work weekend. I know as a stand-up comic, and sometimes you're working in the service industry, this is when things really get busy for you. So for those of you who work hard over the weekends, thank you for all the work you do. For folks who get to take a deep breath and maybe go into the weekend with advice from Jonas Bizito to find something you love that refocuses you, gives you energy, and gives you happiness, please do that, including, as she mentioned as well, showing at some of the protests. I know there's some Tesla takeover protests tomorrow, and we'll take a look during the show. Or if you know of any in your area, please feel free to call or text at 773-763-9278. And before we get going, I because it was a little busy yesterday and we had a lot going on, we have two live streams to give away during this show today, and it's not that we're being overly generous, it's that I forgot yesterday. Thank you, Lady B, for being patient with me. So let's give away our first one. What caller number do we want? We'll do a question for the second one, but Lady B calls with the caller number 3. Don't call right now. That's a front door. You don't have to worry about that. Caller number 3. After I read this announcement, when the White House Correspondents' Dinner fires comedians, it's time we take the mic and brutally mock them in the process. Because here's the thing: throughout history, leaders have been able to take a joke from the jesters, and that's what we are. We are the jesters. So join the Political Voices Network for Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner pay-per-view special, Saturday, April 26th at 8 p.m. Central. The star-studded lineup includes, Elaine Boozler. You guys, if anything else, you remember her from the Night Court. She played, I believe she was a blind defense attorney on Night Court. Yep, I know. There was in the later seasons, Elaine Boozler, one of the great stand-up comedians of the 80s, somebody who inspired me to start doing stand-up. So she is featured along with John Fugelsang, Stephanie Miller, JoJo from Jers, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Frangela, WCPT's own Hal Sparks, and many others. You can watch it live stream and on demand for just $20.26 because 2026 is a good number to think about. Head over to meethook.live/not. So that's meethook, MEET, hook.live/not. /not, because it's the first word of Not the Correspondents' Dinner, for your pay-per-view pass. You can buy it right there, or you can call right now at 773-763-9278 and win a free stream code. We'll take the third caller right now at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-WCPT. Contests running at WCPT are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. One entry per household, one entry per person. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com by clicking the contest tab. Thank you so much for your patience, everybody, because I failed to do that yesterday. We will have another one to give away in just a little bit, so it's not your only chance to win today, but now you have to stay tuned for the next time I give one away. We have a fun show coming up, and I want to first thank our sponsors for making these conversations possible. Thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Maybe make an appointment. See if it's time to put solar panels on your house or residence, and join or your business of your residence, your house or your residence. Well, whatever. Maybe your landlord needs it. Maybe just slip a business card or some information under his door or their door. At any rate, or your business or house, and join over 100,000 happy customers in the Chicagoland area. Again, go to source.solar. And if you go to heartlandsignal.com or wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find the interview we did last week with Peter and Warren, a great conversation about what it means to have solar panels on your house, especially in this period where we're going back and forth with tariffs, the Trump tariffs that are a little just a bit scattered. And we don't know what the supply chain is going to look like in the months to come. And one of the ways businesses can lower their costs is to have a solar, not just solar panels, but as Peter and Warren were telling us. These big like batteries that you can generate your own power and be off. Well, just look into it. But this is a way to lower costs for your business and your home. Also, our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and sign up for their newsletter. I will have a new piece next week, a new column for them. I'm trying to figure out what that's going to be, but I've got a couple of days to figure it out. If you subscribe to their newsletter, you'll get that in your inbox in the morning when it comes out. And if you purchase some of their products, I believe I'm on the Nope Seltzer. I can't remember if it's Woke Coffee. Either way, you support the work that all the journalists and writers do for Minocqua Brewing Company. And don't forget, we will be broadcasting live from the Madison Tap Room for Minocqua Brewing Company on May 13th. We would love to see you. Drive on up. It's just a great town. And May's going to be beautiful. I believe it. Today was not quite what you'd hope for because it started out like it was going to be a decent day and then it got cold and rainy and blah. So I hope that you have made it through traffic. It got a little snarly there a little while ago. So if you are in traffic, I hope that we keep you entertained and engaged. We also want to thank our friends from the Way Back In. It was a great conversation earlier this week with Anita Pendur and Dr. Celeste Napier about problem gambling. If you or someone you love is struggling with a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit areyoureallywinning.com. So we have a lot to talk about today, but we also have some great guests. As Joan mentioned, we have a young man coming up at 6:30 who is committed to having conversations with young folks about. I was thinking about this. I remember when I used to work at another station. And people would text me about, like, I'm tired of your liberal agenda. And we would make jokes about, like, I was not sent the agenda. I did not have a copy. Because we always talk about the talking points, sort of the memo that conservatives seem to get. And I'm not on a mailing list for the liberal agenda. But now that we realize, like, essentially, we should probably have something like a Project 2025 sort of document or a mission statement, those types of things. So I need to be better. If someone could loop me in on the agenda, the talking points, the memo, I just kind of wake up every day, do my job during the day, and then come here and try to catch up with everybody on what's going on in the news and facilitate these conversations. So at any rate, we were going to talk to we're going to talk to this young man who has committed himself at 18. Imagine at 18 years old saying, someone needs to take care of this. So we're going to talk to William He, founder and CEO of Dream for America, a national youth movement dedicating to identifying, educating, and empowering students to promote liberal values. William founded Dream for America on July 4th, 2023 at just 16 years old. I've been going through a lot of my high school photos this week. I told you earlier in the week about the sad, I know many folks are familiar now with the tragic death of Captain David Meyer, who, while fighting an early morning fire in the Austin neighborhood on Wednesday morning, was killed when a beam collapsed in the garage after the fire had been put out. I went to grade school with David Meyer, and I've been trying to find our classroom pictures from first and second grade. He was 1 year ahead of me, so I should have. I know he's in my class photos from first grade, from third grade, I believe, just a bunch of class photos. Because when I saw his picture before I saw his name, and immediately remembered those eyes, that face, and I've been kind of caught off guard and going down memory lane. And I've also been sending a lot of photos to my classmates, just randomly, like some of them like, what is this even a picture of? I'm like, remember when we had summer school? Remember when we were out of the baseball diamond? I mean, remember our graduation? And they're all like, I haven't heard from you in a long time, and thank you, I think. So it's just been stirring up a lot of emotions. So at any rate, I know that at 16, I went through my yearbook from 1987. That's when I would be 16 years old. And what people knew about me was they said, have fun working at Brown's Chicken. I totally forgot I was working at Brown's Chicken the summer of 1987 because I was trying to make money to buy my first car. car, and because I turned 16 in the summer of 1987, and I wanted to have a car when I got my driver's license. So yeah, I was working at the Brown's Chicken over on Waukegan near Harlem. Me and my best friend Susie, we both worked there. I kind of like that. I loved Brown's Chicken. You guys, those hush puppies, good stuff. And at any rate, I was not starting a national organization dedicated to promoting liberal values. Although looking back, I don't think I wouldn't even thought much about it. At 6:05, we're going to talk to Denise Slipy, who is a candidate for Minnesota's state Senate seat in District 6. So we'll talk to her coming up at 6 o'clock. And at 5:30, we're going to talk to some exchange students. We talked to this group last year, so we're going to find out about how it's been for some students from Portugal, from Germany, and Italy. Whew, I hope their families are all doing okay. They must worry about them. Oh my God, this has got to be such a strange time. And I don't want to drag these kids into any conversation about our national politics, but I have to imagine that it's prominent in their families' minds. So what's on your minds? You can text me at 773-763-9278. Let me know what's on your mind. In today's news, I still think it's amazing that the president gets away with saying that they're talking to hundreds of leaders about tariffs around the world. He's like, 200. We made 200 deals. There's only 193 companies. I mean, I guess if we're spitballing, which is most of what he seems to do, is not even spitballing, just spitting craziness. At any rate, that's something that there's, as Tom Hartman covered earlier today, the orders for shipment containers at ports are already down up to 64%, which is a harbinger of what's to come in the next month of 45 days as the supplies of manufactured goods from China continue to not just slow down, but come to a screeching halt. And I know, and it's so funny, someone asked earlier today, there were three big corporations. I think this was Tom Hartman when he talked about the leaders of three big companies went to the White House to have a conversation about these tariffs. And it was Home Depot, Walmart, and Target. All of, I believe half of Target's products come from China. And I can't remember, did he say it was like 60% for Walmart or Home Depot? But I got to believe that the folks who wanted him to be in the White House are concerned about the choices that he's making. And they're visiting him going, we're totally great with everything you're doing, except for the stuff that affects us. We wanted you to hurt other areas of the country and not us. We wanted it to be easier to be richer. And you're making that a little bit difficult. One of our texters says, Trump plans to attend the funeral of Pope Francis. I wonder if he's going to exploit this as an opportunity to set up a table and sell autographed copies of Trump Bibles in St. Peter's Square. That would be, can you imagine if he had like a card table with like a sign, signed Bibles? Now I'm going to need that cartoon. I'm going to need, Scott does not like, as a stand-up comic, I appreciate it. Like people would tell me, what you should do a joke about? Ooh, here's a bit. So I can't call Scott Santis, the political cartoonist for Chicago Tribune, and be like, ooh, could you do a picture of him in the St. Peter's Square with a card table autographing Trump Bibles? No, I can't do that. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal out of Chicago, and our friends listening on 1150 KKNW in Seattle, Washington. Of course, everybody can watch and listen on Facebook. We appreciate you joining the live stream, everybody. And I'll try to check in and see what's on your mind as well. And you can also listen to the show on YouTube. But you can listen right here, wherever you are. Continue to do so. And we'll come back in a moment on WCPT.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
Donald Trump told the Senate to make recess appointments. No reason to have any confirmation. And oh, by the way, the people I am going to nominate are the single most reprehensible, unqualified folks that you have ever seen be a part of any administration at any point in time in the known universe.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 on WCPT 820.
Advertisement sponsored by Allied Injury Group, not available in all states. This important message from Allied Injury Group reminds you that if you or someone you love was injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, you deserve financial compensation for your medical expenses, lost wages, pain, and suffering. Don't rely on insurance companies to look out for you. If you haven't spoken to an attorney, call our legal experts now. Work accident, truck accident, collision with an uninsured driver, or a slip and fall, Allied Injury Group has helped clients win hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. They're available 24/7 to take your call and fight for you. Remember, if you or someone you love suffered injuries in an accident that wasn't your fault, like being struck by a drunk driver, a collision with an 18-wheeler, were a victim of workplace negligence or more, get the financial compensation you deserve. Call Allied Injury Group for a free consultation now.
Call 800-818-2581. That's 800-818-2581. Again, 800-818-2581.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
He's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Okay, Lady B, aside from our caller already on hold, let's clear the lines again, because earlier in the week I asked you a question about what was a harbinger, what economists say are an indicator that we might be heading towards a recession. We talked about this earlier in the week, that women buy more tubes of lipstick, which was amusing to me because the day before I was reminded of that. I had bought 4 tubes of lipstick because they were buy one, get one half off at Walgreens. There's something that men stop buying that is an indicator of a recession. So what do you, this is hard because maybe there's something else that you know and then I have to Google it, but let me make sure. But I've been told that there's an item that men stop buying. And look, I'm not going to double check you if you Google it now. I'm going to Google it right now and see if there's other answers. But what do men stop buying what is it, Harbert? What is it that men stop buying that indicates we might be headed towards a recession? In order to win the White House Correspondents' Dinner fires comedians, it's time we take back the mic and brutally mock them in the process. Join the Political Voices Network for Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner pay-per-view special this Saturday, April 26th at 8 p.m. Central. Now, if you don't win and don't know what item that men stop buying, you can still go to meethook.live/not to buy your pay-per-view pass, or you can call in right now at 773-763-9278. That's MEET hook.live/not. That's a slash. It's meethook and then .live. That's the website, and then put slash. You know what? When you go to meethook.live, you'll still get the event information. So, at any rate, it's $20.26 because 2026 is a good number to think about. That's 773-763-9278. Contest running at WCPT are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. 1 entry per house per person. I have to tell Lady B what the answer is. He's looking at me like, you have to tell me. What? Hold on, Lady B. Let me text it to you. She's like, do I have to guess? No, you don't have to guess in order to know what the answer is. And I'm looking forward to seeing you laugh when you see this word. Hold on. Oh, that's not coming out right. I can't. Don't say it out loud, even though you spell everything out. Okay, let's get to Jim's call while we wait to see if somebody has the answer. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patty. Cash Patel finally showed his face. They hustled a judge out of Milwaukee today for showing humanitarian tendencies toward the poor guy that was in court there today, knowing that the place was surrounded by ice. Knowing that
they're disappearing people. Knowing that they're disappearing people. Yeah. Right. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, and exactly. She knows in her mind that this guy might end up in a dungeon in El Salvador, like we're in the 18th century now. But what's interesting, you put this against the luau of the crypto kings that are going to have the big dinner at Mar-a-Lago tonight or tomorrow, where they can make a couple of fast billion and not work up a sweat.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see a guy from Mexico trying to make a living being hustled away to a dungeon while he's having a party for crypto people.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's insane. It's insane. First of all, crypto to me is like the tulip. Remember, tulips were expensive in Holland in the 15th or 16th century, where you could buy tulips. You could buy the Brooklyn Bridge with a pile of tulips. And it's the same with this crypto stuff. But the point is, he's well invested in it. These guys know that they can make some real fast money. So that's going to be the big dinner today. This is the first time Cash Patel I've ever seen his face on TV. It was today. He was so proud.
Oh, yeah.
Of arresting this judge. And she's got to put up a defense, and her defense lawyer. I mean, the absolute insanity of this. I mean, it's just to prove that he can go after judges. It's universities, it's judges, it's the rest of us. At any time he wants, this 80-year-old criminal, and he says, "Well, this is for," and Bonnie said, "Well, this is nobody's above the law." Well, let me tell you something. Their administration is above the law.
Yep,
and they know it. Trump's been above the law since he's been, for Christ's sake, since he was after he got rid of his $40 million his old man gave him. He's been in every crooked thing you could possibly think of. We don't have to talk about the 34 felony counts and molesting women, and he's above the law. That's the one who's above the law. Anyway, Patty, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, this story is wild. And I wonder why the head of DOJ, Kash Patel, who, by the way, is a conspiracy theorist, far-right extremist. And one of the ways he phrased this was that they suspect this judge of, by the way, Judge Hannah Dugan of Milwaukee, they suspect her of being of obstructing the apprehension of a Mexican citizen who was in her courtroom, and they're not saying that they believe. We believe Judge Dugan, right? Believe is you know what they need? Evidence. We have evidence. Those are two different things. We believe and we have evidence are two different things. And I'm curious to see how this will unfold and how other judges are going to react to this, because this is a wild story. And Kash Patel made a tweet about this and then deleted it, which I'm also curious about. Did someone say, hey, that's not going to help in court? But the thing about social media, and I will vouch for this, I think many of you know that once you put it out on the internet, it's forever. So that will be it's, and I believe there's they're expanding their threats of apprehending, of arresting, of prosecuting other electeds and officials and leaders and different communities who are helping people who are trying not to be disappeared and sent to a gulag. I don't know. That seems crazy, but it is what it is. At any rate, this judge story it's just alarming because it does feel a little bit like it's out of a dystopian novel that the judge was arrested. She appeared before a judge to say that they obviously contest this. I believe she was also released, but the way that the administration is celebrating, like somehow they've oh my God! A friend of mine whose mother was born in Mexico, she just messaged me. Someone called claiming they're from the immigration office and asked for her mother's social security number. This just came to me. So our friend read off her recipe for blueberry pie. What? Okay, folks, this is another reason. I mean, there are people who are posing as officials. If you or someone in your family is a target of this kind of thing, just say, you'll have to talk to my lawyers. I want to see a warrant in any situation, and certainly don't believe anybody who texts or calls you demanding information, in particular your social security number. Wow, it's crazy. As a listener mentioned earlier, the Pope's funeral preparations are in their final stages, and they are sealing Pope Francis's coffin ahead of his funeral. funeral and the ceremonial closing of his casket marks the end of 3 days of public viewing that brought in about 250,000 people to pay their final respects. And there are leaders across the world, of course, that are arriving in Rome. President Trump and First Lady Melania, Zelensky, Biden, and dozens of other President Zelensky, President Biden, and many other global figures will be attending. I wonder if Trump has said that he plans on talking to other world leaders while they're at the funeral, which I'm not sure anyone wants to talk to, especially since Vance was one of the last people to have a private meeting with him. I think everyone's going to want to keep their distance from that stench. Let's take a break here. As I mentioned, we're going to talk to some students who are visiting and studying in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. This is going to be a conversation with our friends from AFS. You can go to afs.org to learn more about the great exchange work that they do with students. It's AFS Intercultural Programs. We're going to meet Kiko from Portugal, Matteo from Italy, Amelie from Germany, and Moritz, who is Amelie's. I hope I'm saying names correctly. I have to find out before we come back. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation with these students from around the world on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, and 1150 KKNW, Seattle, Washington.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Lingering showers come to an end early tonight with mainly cloudy skies continuing, a low temperature of 43. Sunny Saturday, but cool with highs only in the upper 40s and north winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Sunday, sunshine, not as cool, high temperature of 58. Much warmer Monday, lots of sun with a high temperature of 79. Scattered thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 76. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 54.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. The Hal Sparks radio program.
We wouldn't even have Tesla if it wasn't for Barack Obama. Obama insisted that there be funding for electric car companies in the rescue package in 2009. And Tesla was the single biggest beneficiary of it because they were further ahead, because Elon Musk had bought Tesla as a company outright and was pretending to run it, as he does right now.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. A program that I learned about, I believe last year. Has it been a year, or has it been 2 years? It was a year. God, time is very strange these days. How are you doing, my friend?
Good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. And how do I pronounce your name?
Vicci.
Vicci. So Amelie's not coming.
Right.
Okay, so I make sure I've got everyone's. Kiko is visiting us from Portugal. Mo joins us, and Mo is also from.
I grew up in Germany, but I live in Chicago.
You grew up in Germany, and so you're working with AFS.
No, I don't work for AFS. I'm a volunteer for AFS.
You're a volunteer. Okay, excellent. Just to get all my folks straight. First of all, Vicci, remind us again about AFS and the program that you've been working with for quite some time to help kids and young people understand different cultures.
Well, AFS is over 80 years in the making, and we're still running strong. And it really was established in World War I and World War II by ambulance drivers who wanted to somehow see if maybe by influencing young teens that we're more alike than we are different. And so they created a program that is turned into AFS. It used to be the American Field Service, so people will understand that too. But all three of us have actually gone abroad. So Mo started out in Germany and ended up in Malaysia, right?
Yeah,
and then back in Germany, and now Chicago. And I started here in Wisconsin in a small town and ended up in the Philippines.
Wow.
And ended up in Chicago. So and then we have Kiko.
Yeah, and I ended up here. Starting in Portugal.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
And how long have you been in Chicago, Kiko?
I've been in Chicago for 8 months now.
8 months.
Yeah.
So you've had quite the range. I'm so glad that you came here when it was warm. Right? I mean, it didn't get too bad this winter.
Well, it didn't get too bad. It was a lot worse than what I'm used to, but it wasn't too bad. No.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it gets. I'll be honest with you.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, this was one of the smallest amount of snowfall I think we've had in decades. I think it's like 100. So you came during although snow might have been, it's kind of cozy.
No, but snow, I like snow. I just not the biggest fan of the cold in general.
It's a little bit nasty.
Yeah.
Had you been anywhere that gets this cold before?
I don't think so. I think this was the coldest I've ever been. Yeah.
It feels personal too, doesn't it, when it gets that cold?
Yeah.
You're like, why does the planet hate my body? Why can't I breathe normally? Yeah. There's not a way to get ready for it, but even and not even just cold, but it's not. Our weather has not been consistent this year.
It's so weird how one day it's sunny and then the other day it's raining, and it's a unique weather, you can say that. Yeah.
Now, do you get to choose what city you're going to?
No.
I'm not sure. No, and I don't think Chicago would have been at the top of my list.
No,
okay,
but
I'm teasing.
I think Chicago. I think I got very lucky with Chicago, but it's basically a process of selection. First of all, in my country, where I have 2 preparation weekends, and if I do well. And if they like me, I can go to my country of choice, which was the U.S.
Okay.
And then they put my profile out for anyone in the U.S. to be able to see. And then the family chooses me, so I could have gone to any state in the U.S.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And have you had a chance to travel to other parts of the country?
Before coming to the program, I had been to New York. Mm-hmm. And in the program, I went to New York and Puerto Rico.
Okay. Yeah. I've never been to Puerto Rico. And I like New York. I don't love New York, but it's just too much.
It's too much. I feel like it's a nice place to visit. It's a nice tourist place, but it's not really a good place to live, I would say. Yeah.
And what can I ask what community that Kiko is staying in? What in Chicago or in the suburbs?
I'm in Chicago.
You're in the city.
Yeah, I'm in the city.
And and it's kind of an eclectic. And I assume I can't ask what school that you were.
Sure.
What school?
Whitney Young.
Oh, Dolphin. All right then.
I'm a Dolphin.
Okay.
I'm a big Dolphin.
That's a great school.
It is a pretty great school.
I mean, it's not Lane Tech.
It's better.
Oh my God, he's only been here 8 months. Already looking down at my alma mater. Okay.
Already have beef with Lane Tech.
Well, he's on our soccer team. That's
exactly. Oh boy. Oh man. How did you do against Lane in soccer?
We lost in the city final against them. So.
Now, if you'd been on the swim team, my guess is it would have gone differently, because the Dolphins are traditionally one of the best swim teams in the state.
Especially, I'm pretty sure that girls swim team is pretty good.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
That's over 30 years ago they've been that good. Yeah, what I love, did you get a chance to get involved in it? Because they have a really good arts program too.
I'm not a big arts person, so I didn't really do a lot of arts things there. So,
I understand that. If you're playing soccer, also not a bad place to come and play at Whitney Young.
Yeah.
Still no Lane Tech. I'm teasing. It's amazing because Lane Tech has thousands of students, and we still don't have we would never field a basketball team. That was always so confusing to me. Yeah. So what was when you think about going to high school in the United States? What would you say? How would you explain it to your friends back home as to how classes are different here?
Okay, so there's a lot of differences. One of the differences is how many options you have to what to study, because in Portugal and mainly in Europe, you don't really choose all of your classes. Mm-hmm. You choose an area that you want to study, and then you have predefined classes. And also you don't have different types of math and different types of English and different types of chemistry. It's all together in one.
Right.
There's not AP math, it's just math.
Right.
It's different, and also we don't change classrooms.
Oh, really?
Ever. Yeah.
Oh.
So you just...
That had to be so chaotic for you. I'm so sorry.
So you're just in the same classroom with the same people for 3 years. Oh, yeah, and we also only have 3 years of high school, so yeah.
Okay, so what was that like? Because, I mean, Whitney Young's big. So what was that like, having to change class to class?
It was, in the beginning, it was confusing. Mainly because, like, much bigger school than what I'm used to. Just my graduating class has more students than what my school before had. So just a lot more than what I'm used to. But I got to figure it out, and it turned out to be okay and easy. I feel like one big difference is that you get to know more people, but you don't get to know people on a deeper level as you would in like if you had the same class with them for a whole lot of years, I would say.
And one of the things I think, like at Lane, what we did were the social clubs, right? We had is that different as far as high school in Portugal?
I would say though we don't really have like social clubs. We don't really have clubs in general in school. We have like sometimes we have like a group of people that want to like I don't know, that get people to try to join to like make decisions in school, like be on school board and stuff like that. But apart from that, there's no really like clubs and stuff like that, and which is cool here. Yeah, very cool here.
Yeah, it's it's also a way because for our parents to know where we are after school. That's one of the things. Now, Mo, how did you get involved with AFS?
So my brother actually went to Australia for a year. So we were an AFS family. We hosted as well. Hosted a Turkish boy. And then my brother had a great experience in Australia. The year after he came back in 2008, we went to visit his host family. And, him interacting with this random family that all of us didn't really know was like, okay, this is cool. He's like really, built a strong relationship with somebody that lives so many thousand miles away, and that hosted him and made him be part of their family. So I thought this would be cool. So I applied with AFS as well. And, for me, it was a little bit different. I had Costa Rica, Brazil, and another country as, my 3 top favorites. And I didn't get any of those. It was really nice. When I opened the letter and it was Malaysia, I was like, okay, now where is this? Let me take out a map and see what this country in Southeast Asia is. Yep. It ended up being an amazing experience. I mean, my host family, Muslim family, very traditional. I went there in July, and in August, Ramadan started, so we were fasting for a month. Totally different experience than growing up in Europe, right? But the most open-minded, sweet people, and to this day we talk, every few weeks or so. And when I went there in 2010, my host brother was 6 years old, and now he's a grown man. He's got a beard. He's going to college. Holy shit, what's going on? I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't know what the rules are where you grew up. I got it, and all that stuff. Yes.
All right, but anyways, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience.
Here, I'm just saying.
It's an amazing organization, and so still involved, just trying to pass on some of that greatness that I got to experience and help. Some of the students have a great time here. So
that is wild. I love that there are so many people who are passionate about it, who've been doing this for years. Vicky, now Kiko, do you think that you'd be? I mean, you're young. You've got your whole life ahead of you. We're not going to put any pressure on you, but does it seem like something you want to make sure that you encourage not only other people to participate, that you'll also support going forward?
Already now, I try to encourage my friends to do it, and I will for sure. This is a life-changing experience, and I will for sure try to support it and try to get people to do it. And my parents are actually thinking about hosting next year as well. So I will for sure be connected with the program, like a big part of my life. Yeah.
Were there any stereotypes that were sort of eliminated for you when people, whether you thought or people were saying about whether it's Chicago or being in the United States? One that we're dumb.
That's a big stereotype. One thing that
I'll be honest, I'm not unaware. I've been to Europe.
It's a big one. No, but I don't. There was definitely a stereotype that soccer wasn't a big thing here.
Okay.
Because it's not your main sport. But I think that it's gotten much bigger in the past few years. Also, there was a lot of talking about like guns and shootings and stuff like that, which is something that, well, doesn't happen in Europe, at least not a lot. But it did turn out to, well, I haven't experienced any of it yet, and I hope not to.
Agreed.
So I feel like most of those things have like just disappeared, I would say.
I could see that being a fear for folks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the news. It's what grabs the head. I mean, and it is tragic that we are the only country in the world that has this kind of violence. So I'm glad that it has. That's something that hopefully you can take back with you. That we're all not all going crazy, and a lot of us want it to be better too. I think that's the other part is that we kind of seem like this monolithic sort of viewpoint as Americans. We are talking to our friends from AFS. I want to encourage folks to not only, possibly open your homes and your hearts to students from all over the world. Again, the organization is AFS. And what's the best website for folks to visit, Vicci?
AFSUSA.org.
AFSUSA.org. We're talking to Kiko, who is staying with us from Portugal. We'll learn more about Kiko's visit here. We're talking to Mo, who is originally from Germany but now lives in Chicago and has been an alum of AFS, as was his brother. And Vicci, who is also an alum and is one of the folks that is making sure that this program continues to thrive and grow. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll take a break here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal in Chicago and KKNW 1150 in Seattle, Washington.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
If you want to live a longer, healthier, happier life, there are a lot of things you can do to make that happen. Eat better food, get more exercise, more sleep. The list goes on and on. You know these things. But one thing a lot of people overlook is the importance of staying properly hydrated. Research shows drinking plenty of water can improve blood pressure, diabetes, joint, gut, and kidney health, as well as ease migraines and boost the glow of your skin. If you're waiting to drink water until mealtime or until you feel thirsty, you're not drinking enough. Instead, experts we talk to recommend to drink a glass of water every time you do something that's part of your daily routine. Think about that. When you cook or you clean or you walk the dog, when you're watching television. That is something known as habit stacking. Drinking water at those times makes it more likely to become a habit and ensure its success. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation with our friends from AFS, American Field Services.
That's what it used to be, and it's now AFS Intercultural Programs.
And this is an exchange program where students can come to the United States. Students from Chicago, from all over the country, can also study in places like Portugal, or Italy, Germany, Malaysia, Australia. Apparently,
all over the place.
I don't know. I don't. Okay, this is the part before we talk about like how to get involved and who gets involved. For one thing, like I think what holds back a lot of young people in their communities is like there is that fear of missing out on something from your whatever year you're in school, right? How did you overcome it? Did you have those concerns too?
That was one of my main concerns.
Right.
I was really scared to come here and just spend a year, and I was also this is my senior year, so I was also like,
right.
Yeah, I was also like, do I really, after spending 3 years with the same class, do I really want to leave in the last year that we have together in high school? That was a big thing for me, and that was something that it was hard for me to overcome. And to be honest, until I got to Chicago, I still hadn't overcome it completely. But what I think that helped me change my mind was just like both my parents both told me that this experience just completely was life-changing. I've also had some summer camps before that I did, like international summer camps that were for a month that were also like completely out of this world. And I've always liked adventure, and I just thought that why not risk it? Why not see if it is as good as everyone says? And I'm glad I did it. Yeah.
And I'm so glad you came to Chicago. So tell us about your parents' experience in AFS.
So both my parents also went to USA. My dad went to California.
Mm-hmm.
My dad went to California, small town in California, and he absolutely loved it. And my mom went to Delaware, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I've only driven through Delaware. It's very smooth. That's wild. So that they were, and so tell me a little bit about like whose parents did they meet through AFS?
Yeah. Well, my dad is older than my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and when he came back from his program, he volunteered to help like next students, and they met through there. My mom was starting to go do the program, and my dad was volunteering to help. And yeah, they met through there.
And do they continue to? It sounds as though they're still involved with AFS to the best of their ability.
At this point, they try to help. They're not really volunteering right now because they have jobs that take a lot of time. But they still talk to people about it, and they still incentivize me to go and incentivize my sister to go, and yeah, they still try what they can.
And is your sister planning to go, or is she already gone?
My sister's 2 years younger than me, and she's planning to go, but she isn't sure yet. But she kind of wants to, yeah.
Kind of wants to. I wish that I had one known about AFS, and two, my son's going to be a senior in college, and I'm still trying to convince him to get somewhere. I mean, it's the one regret I have from college was not studying abroad because I was dating a boy. And he told me he wouldn't wait for me. Whatever. I'm fine. I'm totally over it. But I think that, when we talk about parents who are hosting, tell us a little bit about the sort of what's required, what kind of questions are asked, or like what qualifies parents for, what's the process?
Well, I think the screening process is important. Like if I'm a parent and I want my child to go abroad, I want to know that the family that they're going to has been screened. So there's a screening process on both sides, and it's actually volunteers like ourselves who work. We think we're the second largest volunteer organization in the world.
What?
So it's lots of returnees, and then so there is an interviewing process to make sure that this is going to be a good, safe place, and that they're really committed to bringing a new member of their family in, and then you can be a single parent host. You can be a traditional, whatever you consider to be a traditional family. Mm-hmm. And that is a beautiful rainbow of colors. So, and Kiko can talk a little bit about his family here. For me, I didn't even know my family, who I was going to. They didn't know whether they knew I was a girl. That's all they knew. And so when you ended up in the Philippines and you had no idea what this woman was going to look like, and it all worked out because somebody had screened the family there, screened me, made sure that I was going to be able to survive in the middle of a barrio in the Philippines.
Right.
Because my mind was open to whatever was coming my way. So it's probably the program with the most rules and processes.
And for a good reason. Absolutely.
For a good reason.
Yeah,
so there's safety. Safety is the number one thing. Yeah.
And Mo, thinking back on your experience, like what surprised you the most when you went to? I mean, I know you said that you were surprised to go to Malaysia, but what do you have a favorite memory of something that just jumps out at you that was so unexpected?
One thing I remember, I was always hot. I was always sweating a lot.
It's muggy.
It was muggy. It felt like I was just coming out of a hot shower every time of day. School uniform was a thing that I wasn't used to growing up.
Okay.
Going to school and everybody was wearing the same thing. It's like, you don't have to choose in the morning what you wear.
Right.
Everybody looks the same, whether they have a lot of money, no money. Meals were provided at school, which I wasn't used to either. So, those were things that it's not something that you have a hard time adjusting to, but
Sure.
it's something that you kind of appreciate after a little while. What I really got to like a lot was the food. Southeast Asian food is delicious. And we actually have a good group of alumni now here in Chicago that repeatedly, go out to Southeast Asian restaurants once in a while and kind of like to hang out.
What recommendations do you have?
Oh, there's a really good one, Sarang, and I think it's in Bucktown.
Okay, Sarang?
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. You got to note that down.
I'm going to write that down, Sarang. All right.
No, but I think overall, what surprised me the most is really, becoming a part of a family that you didn't grow up with. I mean, I consider my host brothers my brothers. I consider my host mom my mom. I think Vicci and Kika would agree that you build relationships with these people that are, lasting for a lifetime. AFS's mission is to create a world, make the world a little bit more peaceful. And I think that...
Yes, please, more of that.
Yeah, right. I think that really is what carries forward the mission of these ambulance drivers in the First World War that said, how can we help people from, both sides of, that are fighting each other, is we're going to help the injured, right? And so that's the mission to this day. I mean, we want to try to, get young people to be global citizens, to understand, that it's not about politics. It's just about trying to get along with each other. And I think that's really powerful and life-changing. And if there's people out there who want to get involved with AFS, or people that went on exchange that maybe haven't talked about AFS or heard about AFS in a long time, go to that website. There's a volunteer. Get involved. And we have over 100 volunteers in Chicago, about 30,000 worldwide that are running these programs for these kids, and we always want more.
Yeah, you can go to afs.org. You can read about the exchange programs. You can host a student, learn more about it, volunteer, and donate. If you can't volunteer, they can always use your support. What I also like, everyone has a different personality, right? Some people are introverts, extroverts. It's like being I'm the kind of person when I'm in someone's house, I don't know how to behave, right? And I'm like, I'm afraid to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bath. What do you remember when you relaxed because of the experience you had with your hosts?
Okay, well, that's a pretty good point because I'm a big extrovert, I would say, but in the beginning I was just scared of doing the wrong things.
Yes.
And because I just never met the people before, so I just didn't know. But I started doing things. We started talking. They just started to tell me how they like the things in the house. And we just got to a point where we just connected, and I just knew what I could do and what I couldn't do. It took a little bit of time, and it took a little bit of adjusting. I remember specifically one of the things that I did. I was used to falling asleep in my sofa or my couch back in Portugal, and that's something that I did in some of the nights in the beginning of the year. And we got to a point where we were starting to get to know each other more, and they just told me, try not to sleep on the couch. and that's how it went. And we started connecting. We just started talking more and getting to know each other, and we just started knowing what each other's liked and what they wanted and what I wanted, and it just worked.
And do you have a favorite restaurant? And what was some of the food that you've enjoyed in Chicago?
I don't know if I can say home meals, but
the meals that they've made.
Yeah, my one of my host dads just grills food basically every day, and it's amazing food every day. So it's pretty lucky with that. I've got to try a lot of new restaurants. One that I really liked was Cane's, just because
chicken.
Yeah,
Cane's. Okay.
Because I hadn't tried fried chicken before, and that was pretty good. Yeah, all around I feel like I really like the food in general here. There's a lot of options.
That's fantastic. I love the experience that you've had. Thank you so much to our guests, Mo and Vicci, for bringing more of these stories to everyone's attention. AFS.org is the website where you can learn more.
AFSUSA.org.
This one takes me there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, AFS, is it different? The AFSUSA.org. Oh, so it's specific to the programs that you have, is what you're saying.
Right. If they want to study abroad, they can look at all the different countries. There's over 40 countries that they can study.
Excellent.
They can apply to go to.
Perfect. And I wish you the very best. Thank you so much, Kiko, for sharing your story. And I think hopefully inspiring other people to get involved, and you as well, Mo. It was great. I look forward to meeting more students, and I wish you the very best. And I plan to come to Portugal someday.
Thank you very much. I'll show you around.
I would love that. Thank you. We're in Portugal.
I'm from Lisbon.
You're from Lisbon. My friends just bought a condo there, not for no reason. We'll talk about that off the air. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. More after this.
This is a WCPT moment in labor. In the 1830s in Lowell, Massachusetts, during the rise of the textile industry, factories were hiring large groups of women ranging in ages 18 to 35 to work at their mills. The workdays were 13 hours long and had poor working conditions. By 1834, the textile market was sluggish. In response, the workers' wages were reduced by 12.5%. One of the workers, Julia Wilson, tried to organize the women to get their wages back, only to be terminated abruptly. Wilson signaled the women to strike or turn out. Over 800 women marched and signed a petition saying we will not go back into the mills to work unless our wages are continued. Ultimately, the strike failed, but they learned from their mistake and successfully battled back a rent increase on their boarding houses 2 years later. By January 1845, about a dozen of the Lowell female textile workers came together to form the Lowell Female Labor Reform Association. This would become the first organized union of women workers in American history. This has been a WCPT Moment in Labor. We're working for your rights.
Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Pope Francis's coffin has been sealed, and at Donahue reports public viewing has ended ahead of tomorrow's funeral.
The Vatican says more than 250,000 people paid their last respects during 3 days of public viewing. It took hours to get in. Francesca Stagnow says, I think this was worth the long wait. It was hot and sunny and very warm. I feel sorry for all those who were unable to say their final goodbyes. I'm sorry. We will miss this Pope very much. Kyle Lucy from Buffalo, New York, says he walked by the casket and prayed.
Pray for tradition, for us to be led in the right direction, and just for strength in general overall throughout the world.
Francis was laid out in red robes, a bishop's pointed mitre, and a rosary entwined in his hands. He's being buried with his well-worn scuffed black shoes, a sign of the simple life he espoused. I'm Ed Donahue.
The FBI's arrested a Milwaukee judge accusing her of helping a man evade immigration authorities by escorting him out of her courtroom through the jury door. The man was taken into custody outside after agents chased him on foot. And the federal government's reversing its termination of legal status for international students around the country. Saga Magani has details.
That comes after many students filed legal challenges. A government lawyer says Immigration and Customs Enforcement is restoring student status for those whose records were suddenly terminated from a database that tracks international students' compliance with their visa status. The terminations were often done without either the students or their schools being told. Judges nationwide had already issued temporary orders restoring the records. Sagar Magani, Washington.
And the CDC says the number of measles cases nationwide is approaching 900, triple the amount seen in all of last year. This is AP News. A former congressman headed to prison. Donna Warder has the story.
George Santos has been sentenced to 87 months, more than 7 years in federal prison, after pleading guilty last summer to federal wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Santos admitted deceiving donors and stealing the identities of nearly a dozen people, including family members, to fund his winning campaign. But the sentencing judge asked him, "Where is your remorse?" Roberta Reardon, commissioner of the New York State Department of Labor, says before Santos represented New York in Congress, he collected unemployment while earning $120,000 a year from a company in Florida.
It's sad that he's in this situation, but it is a situation of his own making.
As part of a plea deal, Santos has agreed to pay roughly $580,000 in penalties. He served barely a year in Congress before his House colleagues ousted him in 2023. I'm Donna Warder.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Lingering showers come to an end early tonight with mainly cloudy skies continuing. A low temperature of 43. Sunny Saturday, but cool with highs only in the upper 40s and north winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Sunday, sunshine, not as cool. High temperature of 58. Much warmer Monday. Lots of sun with a high temperature of 79. Scattered thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 76. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 54.
This is a WCPT 820 Heartland Signal News Minute.
I can't sugarcoat it. I mean, it has not been the easiest start to the year.
That's Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton speaking recently to WCPT's Richard Chu.
In so many ways, we've seen Donald Trump really dragging the American people through what I've been calling a 5-alarm fire. Look at what's happening with this ongoing and escalating trade war, where prices are rising because of Donald Trump. But in Illinois, we're bringing prices down. We eliminated the grocery tax, so we're bringing prices down. When Trump has slashed tens of thousands of jobs, including jobs held by our veterans, I mean, it's unconscionable. But yet in Illinois, we've created thousands of new jobs by investing in 21st century technologies.
For WCPT 820 and Heartland Signal, I'm Andy Miles.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Man, that was a great conversation we had in the last hour. If you missed any of it or our friends just tuning in on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, want to check it out, it's available on heartlandsignal.com. We were talking to an exchange student from Portugal and volunteers with AFS USA. It stands for American Field Service and was started during World War I and by ambulance drivers in World War I and World War II who wanted to find ways to connect folks and maybe learn from each other so we might not go to war with each other. So go to afsusa.org for more information. We want to thank our sponsors, Source Solar. Go to source.solar and make an appointment. See if it's time to get some solar panels on your house or your business and join over 100,000 happy customers in the Chicagoland area. Thank you to Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com or follow them on Facebook and maybe put your order in for some mocha coffee, some Love Wins fruited sour, which is fantastic. A lot of great beverages, as well as some great T-shirts and hats to show your progressive streak. We also want to thank our friends at Are You Really Winning? Go to AreYouReallyWinning.com. We'll have more conversations in the future, but we want to encourage those who are struggling with a gambling problem to call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit AreYouReallyWinning.com. We've been working a lot on various races across the country, and there is a special election coming up on Tuesday, April 29th. And joining us right now is Denise Slipy, right? How do I pronounce your name? Everyone's giving me different pronunciation. Slipy. I have one that was written down, and Lady B came in and told me how to say it. So thank you so much for joining us, Denise Slipy. And thank you for taking up the banner of running for office. Where did you grow up, my friend?
I grew up in southern Indiana.
Oh, you did? Where in southern Indiana?
Just north of Evansville.
Okay. And when did you move out of Indiana? What made you leave the state and head over to Minnesota?
Well, actually, the jobs, the economic oppression that was going on in Indiana actually kind of spurred the move. Minnesota is a progressive state. They have the great jobs. They have wonderful lakes, and it was time for a change from the cornfields to something a little better.
See, and Amen for you saying that, because I talked to some legislators over a decade ago, and they would always point to Indiana as we'll look at how the jobs in Indiana, and I would show them the numbers of how much, what the wages were like in Indiana, what the job prospects were like, and in the comparison of what CEOs were making in contrast to their workers. At the time, it was like 273 times what workers were making, which is not sustainable for working class Americans. And that sounds like those are the ideals you're fighting for, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us, what inspired you to run for office?
Well, I'm tired of being underrepresented and underserved. Okay. And our current situation here in the Senate district, we, for over a decade, have been Republican ruled. And as a matter of fact, my opponent says the area is red, and it'll stay red. Well, I am a community service person. I've been in my community putting service over self since I've been in Minnesota, and I think things are changing a little bit. And it was time to step up and do something to help everybody in our district and make our lives a little easier. And so I decided to jump in and fight for the people, because I'm one of the people.
Yeah. And when did you make this decision to get involved?
Oh, my gosh. Last year, I had been door knocking for a few years for other candidates. And last year, our former congressman, and now late congressman, came to me and he said, "When are you going to run?" And I kind of laughed a little bit. And I said, "Rick, I am not ready." And he says, "Well, when are you going to be ready?" And I said, "I don't know, Rick." And he goes, "If not you, who? And if not now, when?"
Yes.
And so I promised him that this year I would run. So I was going to be throwing my hat in the ring. Little did we know that our current representative, or now former representative, was going to get caught in a sexting with a minor.
My God. Oh, boy. Yeah. How long ago was that and the special election was announced?
It was announced in March, so it was like March 15th, March 16th, somewhere around in there.
Wow, that is wild. And when you say you were door knocking for other candidates, was there a point where you're like, because I love door knocking. It's like a news show every 30 seconds, Denise. I'm like, "Hi, folks."
Yes, exactly, right? Exactly.
What struck you when you were talking to voters and talking about the issues? I mean, what that had to also influence and inspire your desire to run and represent them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because it was the same thing almost every door. St. Paul doesn't care. St. Paul doesn't care. We're flyover country. That was what I kept hearing. And when you sit down and you look at the root cause of why they think St. Paul don't care, it's because there's nobody down in St. Paul fighting for them. Yeah. And that's my whole run. I will fight for you because I'm one of you, and we all do better when we all do better, as our former U.S. Senator Paul Wellstone said.
Well, and tell us about the things that you're fighting for, because I know, every candidate's kind of got their platform and the things that they want to draw attention to and amplify. What are some of the things that you're talking to voters about as you meet them at the doors and at fundraisers and all different kinds of events?
One of the main things is rural health care. With the Medicare and Medicaid cuts that are possibly coming from the federal level, it's obviously going to affect the states. And most of the rural health care is actually dependent upon Medicare and Medicaid. Another thing is education. We need fully funded public education. We need our students to be able to thrive and learn in a safe environment. And, while we're at it, let's feed them while they're at school, because they learn a little better if they're not worried about food insufficiencies. And so that's two of the big ones. And I've noticed that every time that a budget needs to be balanced, they start with either the seniors or the children, which is the most vulnerable, and that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I know that the cuts coming down from whether it's HHS or, whatever Dr. Oz is going to get his claws into, I don't think people in rural areas realize how vulnerable they are with already shaky access to health care. And I have to imagine that that's even before these cuts, the folks are aware that they're vulnerable, right?
Yes. For the last probably 4 years, knocking doors, like I said, for other candidates, they're like, I have to drive 2 hours to see a specialist. We have to, our veterans that live in the rural area, if they're not close to, Brainerd or St. Cloud, they're having to drive 2 hours to, get to a VA facility. And now they're talking about cutting VA facilities or the staffing for VA facilities. So now how long are they going to have to drive?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I have to wonder how the other candidate is responding to those concerns. So you had a Q&A yesterday, and did they show up?
Absolutely not.
How did that go? Tell us a little bit about this event.
Well, it was actually put on by the conservative and Republican leaning Chamber of Commerce. Everybody knows Chamber of Commerce, leans Republican, and they put it on. She didn't show up. It was rapid fire questions. I took questions from the audience that they weren't asked as a Republican forum that was put on. So I was just there. There again, I'm there for the people. I want to be their voice down in St. Paul, and the only way to, the only way to be their voice is to listen to what they say and listen to their concerns, and that's what I promised to do if elected.
That's fantastic. And what was the reaction from the group? Did you have any positive comments after you were done?
Well, it was a little ironic that when it was finished, I had a lady come up to me and she said, "So I've been on the fence." She said, "Because I've always voted Republican." She said, "But to come and listen to you and hear the passion and the fact that you are willing to stand up here while the other one did not, shows the grit and integrity that you do have, and you've actually won my vote tonight."
That's outstanding. So, congratulations on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the thing. You've got to show up for the people. And, by her not showing up now, is she going to show up if she gets elected? And her husband is our current representative, who doesn't do anything for our area either. And so we sure don't need a husband and wife stronghold to do absolutely nothing for Senate District 6.
Now, I know that there are always, people are always going to report about fundraising and things like that. Are you getting the kind of support that I would imagine the Democrats should be coming in heavy on your race, considering the margin of what you have in the General Assembly in Minneapolis, St. Paul, right?
Right. We've done well fundraising. Most of my funds have come from our local people. Prior to being picked up by the DLCC, every bit of my funding was from our district. And that really meant a lot to me going into this because, fundraising, obviously I had to step away from my job because I'm not unethical. I'm not going to work on somebody else's dime and politic, right? So I stepped away from my job, took a leave of absence, depending outcome of the election, and started off with, can we do this? And within probably the first 8 days, it was like, we don't have to worry about it. We've raised enough to pay the people that are helping us. We have amazing volunteers that have stepped up. People who have never been involved with politics are stepping up to make phone calls, knock doors. And it's just the outpouring of support because they all, I think, are realizing that, if you elect a clown, you're going to expect that circus.
Well said, my friend. Actually, I'm on your. By the way, folks, I'm on Denise Slipy's website right now, and you may as well donate now while Act Blue is still up, right, Denise?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Trump's threatening has taken action actually against Act Blue. I noticed he didn't go after the Victory Fund though. He cited the things. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you can donate, fantastic. If not, if you've got friends in this district or know people in this district, please call 10 people, tell them to turn out to vote, because that's where your voice is going to be heard. I can only spend so much money anyway. I would rather people be talking to each other and maybe even rekindling some relationships that may have been, struggled over the last few years.
Again, Denise Slipy is running for the State Senate of Minnesota, District 6. Tell folks what areas that covers so that in case they don't know, maybe they might know the towns better.
Sure. So it's Crow Wing County, the Brainerd Lakes area, up through Cass County and Itasca County, which includes the Grand Rapids area. Grand Rapids, Cohasset, Reamer, Amelie, 50 Lakes, Outing, all these little small towns in between Brainerd and Grand Rapids.
Excellent. I appreciate that information. Give us your 30-second pitch as we wrap it up and promote. And we've asked for the volunteering. We've asked for donations and a vote. What do you want to leave our listeners with?
It's time for you to have your voice. The Constitution says we the people, not we the party. And I'm going to fight for you because I am one of you. And I'm going to St. Paul. If you send me to St. Paul, I'm going to represent you, not for myself.
It was an honor to speak to you, and I can't wait to talk to you when you win this race. Again, the special election is April 29th. Early voting has started, yes?
Yes, it has.
All right. Get out there and vote, folks. It's Denise Slipy. You can go to Slipy for Senate. That's SLIPY, the number 4, Senate.com, and find out how you can help. And make sure you let all your friends know who live in Minnesota and the 6th District to vote. We'll talk to you again, my friend. Really, congratulations on doing this, and I wish you the very best. Get this done. Go get them.
Go get them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Let's take a break here, and we'll continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820, KTNF AM 950, and KK 1150 in Seattle. And we love talking to our friends in Minnesota from here in Chicago.
Thanks to our loyal WCPT listeners, the WCPT 20th anniversary broadcast is officially sold out. But you can still enjoy the broadcast by listening to WCPT Radio on Saturday, May 3rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Hal Sparks will kick things off at 11 a.m., then hand it off to WCPT hosts Richard Chu, Joan Esposito, Patti Vasquez, and Scott Duff at 1 o'clock. Surprise guests from WCPT's 20-year history will also join us. Scroll through 20 years of WCPT Radio with legendary interviews, shows, and pictures on the WCPT 820 website. WCPT's live broadcast is sponsored by Max and Benny's Restaurant in Northbrook, Fazio Insurance, Smart 265, Kane County Dems, Southland Friends of Labor, Democratic Party of McHenry County, and McHenry County Democratic Women. It's the WCPT 20th anniversary live broadcast Saturday, May 3rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Only on WCPT 820, Chicago's only progressive talk radio station for 20 years.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Those headaches and stomach aches your child gets may be migraine. 10% of children and 28% of adolescents have migraine disease. Migraine at School can help. Learn more at migraineatschool.org. As a parent, I know how migraine impacts my daughter's ability to learn. Every child deserves the chance to flourish in school. Visit migraineatschool.org. Sponsored by the Coalition for Headache and Migraine Patients.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Our friend Kiko from Portugal was on his way out when his friends from AFS finally arrived because the northwest side of Chicago, I will be the first to admit, I've grown up here. Everyone that comes to this neighborhood goes, I made a wrong turn on Cicero, on Pulaski, all those things. So Amelie from Germany has joined us with AFS. We have Matteo from Italy, and rejoining us again is Kiko from Portugal.
Hello again.
Our international panel. So let me start with you, Amelie. I'm so glad that you're able to make it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. What year in high school are you?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. So, was it a difficult decision to to decide to study abroad?
Oh, no, not at all. I was so excited to go abroad. It was always my dream since I was little. And I got inspired by watching all those American movies and TV shows. So I really, really wanted to spend a year abroad.
What did you have Chicago as one of your top places?
No, not at all.
Nobody made Chicago the number one choice, did they? All right. Just teasing. Where did you can tell me where you wanted to go.
Oh, I think I would have loved something like nature,
somewhere we're a little urban. Yeah, fair.
Definitely. I wasn't thinking of any big city at all. I was thinking like maybe somewhere on the coast.
Sure.
I was thinking the ocean close by, but I have the lake, which is really like the ocean.
Thank you. Tell people when you go back that we have over 26 miles of lakefront and beaches, right? And downtown. They're downtown beaches,
yes.
So
it's so pretty.
So it sounds like you liked Chicago more than you thought you were going to.
Very much, yeah.
And what high school are you attending?
I'm going to Oak Park and River Forest High School.
Oh, it's a beautiful community there too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really nice. They have a beautiful downtown.
They do.
And are there any programs that aren't available? Because Kiko was telling us about in our schools, you switch classes. There's passing periods. There's social clubs afterwards. Was there anything that you were able to participate in that you never would have thought you might do?
Oh, yeah. Right now I'm taking culinary arts, for example. So we are cooking and baking in school, which is super, super cool. I never seen that before. And friends of mine, for example, take a class which is called Auto. And we have our own garage in our school where they repair cars. And I've never seen this in my life.
Yeah, we're a little, I don't know if you guys know this, we're a little car-centric. We seem to think that pickup trucks and SUVs are the way to go. That's amazing. And I wish I'd had auto shop because I've had my car break down many times in my life. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Now, Matteo, you're visiting us from Italy.
Yes,
and
I am.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that Chicago was also not your first choice.
I mean, it's a beautiful city, but when you think of the American dream, you usually think of LA, New York, and all these big cities.
Sure.
But then AFS tells you that you're gonna probably end up in a small 3,000 people village, and then you're like, all right, well, maybe I'll hope for a big city now, and I don't care what it is. So I was happy when I discovered I was going to Chicago, and I discovered it 3 days before having the plane here.
Oh gosh.
And I was in another country. I was in his country. I was in Portugal when I discovered it. I got the email and I just took the first flight home and just, all right, let's pack the bags and go.
I'm going to Chicago. What has surprised you about Chicago the most?
I have to say how big it is.
Okay.
It's crazy big. I know it was big, but not this big. It takes, like we know very well, me and Amelie, an hour just if you miss a direction, and you end up on the south, and then it's an hour and a half to get back north. It's crazy.
And Amelie, have you had a chance to visit other parts of the country since you've been here?
Yes, I did. I was very lucky. I could travel a lot with my host family, so I've seen California, for example. I also took a Belo trip, which is like an organized trip just for exchange students to Hawaii, which was amazing.
I haven't even been to Hawaii. What? Sorry, go ahead.
And I am a scholarship student, and with that scholarship, we went to visit Washington, D.C., which was also very pretty.
That's very... Have any of you been able to see like other parts like D.C.? I know you've been to New York. Kiko.
Yeah, I went to New York, but I've never been to D.C. It's actually a place that I've really want to go.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, I will one day.
It's fantastic. And Matteo, have you?
We went to San Francisco, Detroit. We made a lot of trips. We mostly went to St. Louis because we have some host family there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a great city, but after 4 or 5 times you go there.
I got it. I got enough. I saw their museum. I saw that big park. It's good. I got it.
I mean, I would rather see San Francisco twice because it's bigger and there's a lot more stuff to see. But I'm very grateful for my host family. They take me anywhere they can, and it's really beautiful. Yeah.
And may I ask what high school you're going to?
I'm going to Fenwick High School.
Oh, you're going to Fenwick.
Yeah.
All right. Is that used to be an all boys school or no?
It used to be an all boys. Thank God now it's not.
My high school, Lake Tech, also used to be an all boys school.
Oh wow! And we're actually the rivals with OPRF right there.
Oh right, that makes sense.
Yeah, we're supposed to hate each other, but you know.
Well, me and Kiko have had words already about the Dolphins and the Lake Tech Warriors. Yeah. Now, Amelie, what has surprised you? I mean, because Kiko and I were talking about sort of these preconceived ideas about Americans. We're not as dumb as you guys thought we might be, right?
Not as populist.
No. What has surprised you about the United States or Chicago specifically that comes to mind?
I think how diverse it is.
Yeah.
Because my town from Germany is very, very small, and there's not a lot of diversity, not at all. Everybody looks pretty much the same, to be honest. And just like to experience this cultural diversity is so amazing and so nice.
Now, when you talk to somebody and they find out you're from Germany, we do the thing where we're like, oh, I have my great-grandparents were from Germany, or we do a lot of that.
Yes, you do.
And then you find out that we don't know that much about Germany. We don't know what the parts are.
The capital is Paris, I've heard.
Oh, no! Oh, God. Oh, my. How about you, Matteo?
Oh, I've heard a lot worse.
I was going to say, well, I mean, because the Italian population in Chicago, have they taken you to some of the neighborhoods?
They've taken me to some Italian neighborhoods, but mostly I have some Italian friends. And the first time I told them that I was Italian, the first thing they asked me, are you in the mafia?
Oh, no!
I think I've heard that question more than what's your name.
I'm sure you've gotten some stale things, too.
Not that much, to be honest.
Okay, good. And we don't know enough about Portugal. Americans don't know anything about Portugal.
Well, yeah, they've asked me a lot if Portugal is part of Spain.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is adjacent.
It's adjacent.
Yes.
They asked if it was actually a country or just a city.
No. No.
They asked if we spoke Spanish or what language did we speak there. It was I've gotten a lot of questions like that as well.
There's actually a movie from the 90s called Mystic Pizza, and a lot of the people are of Portuguese descent. It's a town, and it's got Julia Roberts.
Okay.
It's from the 80s. It's when she was very, very young. But that was when I found out as a high school student that you didn't speak Spanish. So I'll be honest, I had to learn from the movies. But we need more Portuguese movies, Kiko.
Yeah.
Could you tell them that we also should watch more?
Well, go make some, Kiko.
No,
Kiko.
my dad makes movies, so but the thing is that Portuguese movies are kind of hard to push out of the country, so it's need a lot of money.
So Amelia, do you think that are you planning to come back to Chicago or to the United States?
Yes, of course, and especially to visit my host family. Again, I love them so much, and I definitely am. I see myself coming back.
And Matteo?
I would love to come back. I've made so many friends that they always tell me, we're going to come visit you. But of course, it's a big trip if 5 or 6 people are coming. So it's easier for me to go back here. And I can't wait to go back here and see how everything changed. And hopefully, maybe live in America.
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah. That's a good program. That's a good. Emily's like, I like it. Not that much, maybe.
Actually, me and my friends that I made here in America, we are already planning on them when they can visit me at home in Germany.
That's fantastic.
And then I'm going to show them the Schützenfest.
I think that was okay. That was part of a German word, Lady B. I don't think that was I wish I had more time. I have a guest on the line, but I'm so grateful for you guys coming in studio. I'm glad that you made it. And you guys are going out to eat after this? Is that the...
hopefully. I'm hungry, so...
I have no idea. Oh, different plans. Everyone's got different plans. I don't
think so.
Make assumptions for everybody. Matteo, Amelie, Kiko, thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you the very best. And if you ever want to message us and want to be I was telling Kiko to be our correspondent in Europe when you're back, and maybe our lifeline, and help us. Yes. Send help. We'll be blinking really hard. Help us. Have a wonderful time. For folks who want to learn more, go to AFSUSA.org. That's AFS for American Field Service, USA.org. Be safe, and I hope it's an easier journey back to your homes. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you for having us.
More in a moment on WCPT 820 in Chicago, KKNW in Seattle, Washington, and KTNF AM 950 in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Lingering showers come to an end early tonight with mainly cloudy skies continuing, a low temperature of 43. Sunny Saturday, but cool with highs only in the upper 40s and north winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Sunday, sunshine, not as cool, high temperature of 58. Much warmer Monday, lots of sun with a high temperature of 79. Scattered thunderstorms on Tuesday with a high of 76. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 53.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Advertisement sponsored by Allied Injury Group, not available in all states. This important message from Allied Injury Group reminds you that if you or someone you love was injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, you deserve financial compensation for your medical expenses, lost wages, pain, and suffering. Don't rely on insurance companies to look out for you. If you haven't spoken to an attorney, call our legal experts now. Work accident, truck accident, collision with an uninsured driver, or a slip and fall. Allied Injury Group has helped clients win hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. They're available 24/7 to take your call and fight for you. Remember, if you or someone you love suffered injuries in an accident that wasn't your fault, like being struck by a drunk driver, a collision with an 18-wheeler, were a victim of workplace negligence or more, get the financial compensation you deserve. Call Allied Injury Group for a free consultation now.
Call 800-818-2581. That's 800-818-2581. Again, 800-818-2581.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant to U.S. Aging. Learn more at yougotthis.usaging.org.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I really love that tonight we've been highlighting the work and the experiences of young people. One of the conversations that we've been having over the last year is where do we go from here? And I think we all agree that we look to the youth in our country. And joining us on the line right now is William He, who is a young man who at 16 years old founded and is now the CEO of Dream for America, a national youth movement dedicated to identifying, educating, and empowering students to promote liberal values. William founded Dream for America again on July 4th, 2023. I love all of that. William, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening, my friend?
I am good. Thanks for having me on, Patti.
My pleasure. Now, first of all, where'd you grow up, my friend?
I am from Dallas, Texas. I've kind of been all over the map, so I've lived in Massachusetts and Michigan and for D.C. for a time, but I am Texas through and through.
Oh, wow. So when did this idea come to you? What were some of the experiences that you were having that you thought, why don't we have something for young people to, be a part of this mission?
Yeah, absolutely. I have always been interested in politics. I have, when I was, younger, while other kids were reading Harry Potter, I'd be reading Politico. So that's how tuned in I was.
You made a good choice, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think it was a great investment. But, I've been involved in politics for a really long time, and I've tried to find ways to get involved here and there when I was younger. I first got my official start, back when I was, I think, maybe 11 or 12 after the Parkland shootings. I was just doing phone banks for March for Our Lives at the time. But it was, as I grew older, since I've, known and read about politics for such a long time, I had already known what groups like Turning Point USA and all these other right-wing groups were. And around 2022, 2023, I started thinking, okay, maybe there's a better way we can be talking to young people and talking about young people, and there's something that the right is doing that we're missing the mark on. Groups like Turning Point USA and all of these massive right-wing organizations that get billions in funding from their billionaire donors, they're investing in something new. They're building a whole cultural ecosystem that is focused about sending out a message everywhere and at all times, whether it's on campus, online, at their conferences, and they combine that all together to create kind of a new generation of young conservatives that are being pushed radically to the right. You have young people now who are, I think 67% of young people a couple of months ago were optimistic about a Trump presidency. You have 56% of young people who think political violence is an acceptable means to achieve progress. And of course, young voters swung 30 points to the right in 2024. And so while I'm sad that the vice president lost last November, I am thrilled that people are trying to finally come around to this idea that it's time that we do something different. At the time, people didn't take me very seriously because, I was a 16-year-old high school sophomore, and also, the conventional wisdom was still in play. But I'm glad that people are starting to move forward in a different direction.
Yeah, this is something I've talked to folks on the air. They're going to roll their eyes right now and hear me once again go on about the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, the billionaires that bought up a lot of the media to get this agenda, really a nonstop news cycle. And it's really not news. It's called entertainment, but it's propaganda. And you're right. I don't think that we have invested our focus. In the 2 years that you've been doing this, what kind of conversations have you had with people about financial support and investing? We need more liberals, progressives who have the deep pockets, don't we?
Absolutely. I think, funding is a big part of it. There's a number that I read about, which was that in the last 5 years, groups like, Charlie Kirk's Turning Point and, PragerU and so on have got $1.6 billion in the last 5 years. And that comes from big donors, and it also comes from grassroots. Whereas on the left, we just barely cracked $500 million, which I don't want to sound elitist by saying $500 million is not a lot of money, which is a lot of money, but we're being outgunned 4-1 or 3-1. But it's not just a matter of funding too. So, of course, George Soros turned if you're listening, turn the hose on. But it's also about strategy, right? Because I think the old playbook for how we've done this is, I think that's dead. For decades, the left dominated campus organizing, right? We were winning young people massively. We drove the discourse. It was cool to be liberal back then. Young people used to proudly proclaim they were progressive, but these days there are actually, I don't know, David Shore, he's a pollster. He did kind of a postmortem in the New York Times. These days he says there are more conservative 20-year-olds than there are conservative 75-year-olds, which is an insane number. Yeah. And young people are radically more conservative than our millennial counterparts. Every demographic, because I know a lot of the discourse is centered around young men shifting massively to the right, but it's also young women. And, whether it's white people or non-white people, it is every demographic shifting radically to the right. Trump, I think, even won non-white young men for the first time ever I think just ever, period. And it is really scary because also there's a new Yale poll that came out just a couple days ago that said 18 to 21-year-olds, if they were to vote in the next midterms, they would favor Republicans by a 12-point margin. And that's young women +4 and young men +20-something. So it is young women, too, that are shifting right. And so I think the new strategy has to involve kind of a new focus on building a cultural identity that young people can get behind, and it's building kind of a social ecosystem. So it is going on campus, having conversations with people, trying to change minds, amplifying that message online, recruiting all the people that we've attracted on campus and online to attend conferences, listen to inspiring speakers, get trained, get involved in the movement, and then send them back to their communities to do the whole process all over again and expand the tent and the movement. Because I think fundamentally, I know a lot of groups out there that do great work, right, on the left that are a lot more focused on electing candidates and supporting, kind of the Democrat Party writ large, which is fantastic work and necessary work to turn out young people and to get them to vote. But I think the new approach that we have to take is about when the votes are counted and there isn't an election, we have to be focusing on trying to bring people to support our ideas, bring them into our fold, and get them to speak our language. So support, amplifying political ideas, not political parties. Because I think if we make the investment to change people's minds, let them know that we see them, we care for them, and that our ideas are the intellectually superior ones, the morally superior ones, and the ones that are best for our country and our future, then come election time, the votes will be there. So I think this is kind of the new approach we have to take, and the right is already doing it. Like, for example, Turning Point USA has been working on this for, I think, 12, 13 years. Charlie founded his organization when he was also just 17, 18, and now he's built it into a whole apparatus, and they basically are hosting like ghost RNCs when in off years. They've got millions of volunteers, thousands of staffers. Charlie Kirk, you've seen the clips online. The crowds at his campus tour stop are only getting booed.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Just the other day, just this Tuesday, he was at A&M University. 4,000 kids came out to see him, and he filled an entire auditorium and the entire, quad. And then there were still people who couldn't fit in because of lack of space, so standing room only. And they were cheering. They had MAGA hats on, the entire crowd. It was all young people. Really scary sight to behold of. But I think this just underscores the urgency that if what happened in November isn't a fluke. It's more of a long-term trend, and if we don't do something now, we're going to lose an entire generation for decades.
Man, what a great message, and your focus, your passion for this is incredible, and I want to continue having conversations with you. And I know that maybe radio isn't quite the platform for younger folks, but can you convince them that this is important? Radio is another way in which, like, the Latino communities are often drawn to conservative talk. A lot of conservatives have bought radio stations in your state or across Texas, and for years, for decades, because more than half of Americans still listen to the radio. Just not for nothing. Don't give up on us, okay, young folks? We've been talking to William He, the founder and CEO of Dream for America, and you can purchase maybe an F fascism sweatshirt or a Dream for America. I love everything you do here. I love that you have not ceded the ground of patriotism to the radical right, and are really driving this so much for young people to find a place and a voice for themselves. So we'd love to check in with you again, okay?
Of course, and thank you so much. Of course, we will not give up on radio. And you know what? I know a lot of the radio listeners are skewing towards the older end, but, this has to be a whole united effort. We will do whatever we can to reach young people, but we also need the support of old people to talk to their kids, their grandkids, to volunteer, to donate, whatever you can. I will also add one last thing. We are hosting our very first conference this summer. It's called Democracy Fest 2025. It'll be in Washington, D.C. We'll have more information on dates and speakers very soon, but it's about unveiling kind of a new liberal identity for what the new left looks like, the roadmap for it, the message behind it, and really trying to pave the way for how we can win the culture in this country once again. If we win the culture, we will win the country, and I am very excited to keep doing the work.
I want to learn from all of you, and in particular the work that you're doing. Again, William He from Dream for America. You can go to dreamforamerica.com or .org. That's dreamforamerica.org. And I love that you're doing this, and I love following your journey. And is there a good social media? What's the best social media platform for us to follow you to?
Yes. So for the organization, it'll be just the same thing, Dream for America. There might be some variations with like a period or a dash in between on different platforms, but it'll be Dream for America. It should show up. And then for me, you can find me at williamp.tx on Instagram, and then same handle on Twitter.
Outstanding. Go get them. Thank you for everything you're doing and everyone that you work with as well. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, Patty.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take care.
Fantastic. All right. I know folks have been calling through the show, and I apologize that I haven't been able to get to the calls. We had these great conversations, but we will have the phone lines open and taking them when we come back on WCPT 820, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. You can also text us if you want to say hi there, too. More in a moment.
Think Theory Radio.
We're joined by Amelie Miller, hypnotherapist.
Hypnosis is portrayed in media in general. Manipulation, mind control. People think it's like a truth serum. My clients describe it as they're in control the whole time. It's definitely not a truth serum. The client decides what they share with me, even in a state of hypnosis.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
Hey Progressives, this is Richard Chu, host of Chu's Views here on WCPT AM 820, 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. We have some real challenges in front of us as a country. Since the beginning of this show, I have always felt compelled to bring you the best that I've got. Now, there's always a why to doing whatever we do. So, as we go forward and face these challenges, know this, you listeners are my why. Because I want to make sure I do everything I can to provide a safe, open, forward-moving space that allows you to call, email, text, or just listen to a guy that wants to help you bring out your own championship qualities to truly make this place better for us all. Lofty goal, idealistic, maybe so. But that's my why, and I look forward to bringing you the best that I've got. This is Richard Chu. Stay tuned.
From the personal experiences that shaped you to the accomplishments that shaped the world, every moment of a veteran's service is meaningful. At the Library of Congress Veterans History Project, we ensure those moments are never forgotten. For 25 years, the collection has made the experiences of U.S. military veterans accessible to all. Veterans, now is the time to share your story and make our history more complete. To submit your stories, photographs, and documents, visit loc.gov/vets today.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I'm so grateful that our listeners are, one, that you call in, and two, that you're patient when we have a lot of guests, like Dave from Hoffman Estates, who's been hanging out patiently. Hey, Dave, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, Patty.
Yes.
Last hour, you guys were talking about that Trump meme coin.
Yeah.
And the other night, I was watching that show on CNN, that Abby Phillips show, and one of her guest panelists, whatever, Hillary Rosen, said, yeah, that for like every $1 million sold, Trump gets like $800,000, and all these others get like $200,000 divided amongst all of them. So I guess it's like P.T. Barnum said, a sucker born every minute, you know?
It is crazy. And the meme coin, which apparently had previously been dropping in value, all of a sudden has, I think they had 220 holders of this digital token are going to be going to this intimate private dinner with Donald Trump. Yeah. The meme coin went from $5.32 up to $14.32 on Wednesday, and then hit a peak. At any rate, this is just crazy.
And I think that other thing, that Truth Social stock or whatever you got too, suddenly. So I don't know what is these fools are, you know.
Yeah, someone's pumping money into the to prop them up.
Yeah, but anywho, I just thought when you were talking about that, I remember watching that. You know, this guy, you know, before he goes to bed every night or before the weekends, he must scheme what he's going to do the next week. You know,
it is
kind of like.
Yeah. It certainly seems like a cash grab in a lot of different areas. That's my sense of things. And, and there are no signs of it slowing down, Dave.
No, I mean, he's always something new and a definite showman that gets suckers to buy into. What is it?
Yeah.
You name it. You know. Whatever happened to the Trump shoe? I ain't seen that out there.
Oh, the gym shoes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know.
The spray-painted gold on them or whatever.
Yeah. It's
Hey,
something to behold.
You got
Thank you so
others
much.
waiting. Let me have a good weekend.
Thanks,
All
Dave.
right.
You too. Be well. Find something fun to do. And Al in Franklin Park is joining us. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Patty.
Same. I'm hydrating.
Yeah, I try to do that, but that doesn't always work.
Fair.
Anyhow, I was just listening to your last guest, and he was talking about Turning Point USA.
Right.
And I've been one of these people, monitoring the other side, and one of the places they are showing up now is on something called the Salem News Channel, which they're just rolling out and figuring it out. And Charlie Kirk has a 2-hour show on that program that I can pick up on terrestrial TV in Chicago area right now. And they also, you can find it online and many apps and so on and so forth. And it's not only Charlie Kirk, it is, Mike Gallagher and Sebastian Gorka. I'm not sure about him, but Larry Elders and Dennis Prager and all of these now you can watch on their TV channel. And we really got to be aware of that because they're just rolling the stuff out. And I really feel that that's a bit of the voice of the Republican Party because they are getting all the big names on there. Like they will interview the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Right.
They will have Senator Kennedy on there, and they are all in, and they don't talk about any of what we understand and know about Trump. They're just praising him and going along with him. Like one of these shows was talking about we had a mandate to deport 100,000 people, and all these pesky judges are getting in our way right now and stopping that. And then they were Charlie Kirk this morning was talking about how great it is that Trump is going against DEI. And he signed some executive order the other day. I can't remember what the name is. Like I haven't,
there's too much to keep track of.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to rant on here,
you're
but
doing fine.
there's just so much.
Well, I know that you've called. We've talked in the past about how local TV stations have given up so much, or are being bought up so much of their airtime for radical right messaging. We've talked about Wisconsin. When you go to a hotel, you've talked about that many times, and I don't know where the sense of urgency is from our side to get involved in that. It's almost like they think that the media is like too icky for them to be a part of. I mean, they're still trying to figure out social media, my friend.
Yeah, that's correct. And, it's all of us out there in the progressive media and coming together, or somebody was talking about earlier about getting our messaging together. Well, actually, that might have been the Northwest Suburb Individual call that they do a 5 o'clock happy hour. If you go to mobilize.us, you can find their calls, and every morning they do calls, and that's full of many good people all talking about what activism they are working on and what they are doing. And also, it's amazing the number of indivisible groups that are being created all the time. There's right now, if you listen to Ezra and Leah at all, they have phone calls and this particular group that I attend the meetings on, some mornings is so great, and I rant a bit about that because it's a Zoom call that you can talk on as well. And they're going to be at that protest in the northern suburb over the Kennedy, Northbrook, I believe. They're going to have a 30-foot chicken with a Trump head on it. So over the eat-ins by the Tesla dealer. So that should be kind of fun tomorrow. I'm thinking about going to that.
Great. I love that. And folks can go to indivisible.illinois.org, by the way. And if you click on Take Action, it'll be a drop-down little bar of what to do, what's coming up. And you can learn more about like May Day is coming up on May 1st, next Thursday. May Day Strong, We Are the Many. They've got an International Workers' Day also on May Day. And the Tesla Takedown, Musk or Us in Westmont. So you'll get a lot of lists of events. Al, I want to thank you so much for everything you're doing. And I know that getting involved helps set the pace a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it sets the pace and it keeps you from going crazy.
Yes, we need a lot of that.
Yep.
A lot of not going crazy because, it's just a lot going on. Well, stay hydrated, my friend. Have a good weekend and take care of yourself. And we look forward to talking to you next week.
Okay, sounds good, Patty.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. And don't forget, folks, I will be at, I'm performing tomorrow night in a comedy show. I'm hosting a comedy show featuring Ralphie Roberts. We talked to Jaime De Leon earlier this week. We have Jeannie Dugan on the show, and it's all to benefit Envision Community Services. You can go to Envision Community Services. Hold on, let me find the website. That's envisioncs.org. Again, Envision's. Oh, it is envisioncs.org. Envision, one word, CS at the end of that, .org. And you should be able to find our event right there on their first page and buy tickets and come see the show. Showtime is at 7 o'clock. We would love to see you. Coming up in just a couple minutes, I'll be joining a Whiskey and a Cookie. So if you want to switch over to the Patti Vasquez show page, we will be live there. I'm going to make Elliot the host right now so he can put that on social media for us, making him the host. Lady B, I wish you a wonderful weekend. Coming up next week, we're going to tell you a little bit about the new schedule. We'll be talking to one of the hosts of The Gailey Show, which will be joining us, and Rick Smith will be joining us, I believe, on Monday. I hope that you are able to take some time this weekend to take care of yourself, to do something that's fun and enriching for you and your family. So be well. And I'm not sure what else to let you know about. We'll be back on Monday with a great show. Of course, we'll be joined by Jen Zanotti to remind us to be calm and take deep breaths and take care of ourselves, because we need you all to be healthy and safe. All right. Have a good evening. Take care. On the money. Bye, everyone.
If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender.